All right, let's jump right in. Every single agency owner wants to grow their business, right? But what if I told you that the way most agencies think about growth is actually costing them millions in hidden value? We're about to break down how a simple shift in your strategy can completely transform what your agency is worth.
In this quote, this really hits the nail on the head. This is the fundamental trap that so many of us fall into. We think the goal is to hire superstars, find those killer producers and just let them loose. But that belief, as common as it is, reveals a huge misunderstanding of what creates real, lasting value.
So here's the bottom line. Relying on a few hero producers makes your business incredibly fragile. I mean, think about it. What happens if they leave? What happens when you can't find another one? You can't just clone a person, but you can replicate a system. A system is what creates a predictable, scalable asset that churns out growth year after year.
Now, let's put on a different hat for a second. Let's look at your agency from the outside, the way a potential buyer would. When a private equity firm is sizing you up, they aren't just looking at your top-line revenue. They're hunting for one thing above all else: risk. In a business built on just a handful of key people, well, that's a massive red flag.
This is basically their checklist, and every single item here boils down to one word: predictability. They're digging into your growth trends. They're looking at how much business is tied to one or two people, and they're really looking at owner dependency. They're all asking the same critical question: if the owner takes a step back, does this whole thing keep growing, or does it fall apart?
And this slide just illustrates that point perfectly. You know that one amazing year you had where everything went right? A buyer sees that as a high-risk anomaly, a fluke. What they truly value, and what they'll pay a premium for, is seeing that consistent, repeatable growth. 12% this year, 14% the next, 15% after that. That shows them you built a machine, not that you just got lucky.
And if you're still not convinced that the old model is broken, just look at this number: 70 to 90%. That's the industry failure rate for new insurance producers. Seriously, let that sink in. You have a 7 to 9 out of 10 chance that your next big hire just won't work out. That is not a growth plan. That is a very expensive gamble.
And boy, is it an expensive gamble. On average, every single one of those failed hires costs about $250,000. And that's not just salary. That's benefits, training, the hit to your team's morale, and all the lost opportunity. This is the staggering, often invisible cost of not having a system.
Okay, so we've really laid out the problem, right? Relying on finding these unicorn producers is risky, it's expensive, and it actually lowers your agency's value. So what's the alternative? It's time to move from a strategy of hope to a repeatable, reliable process.
And this is the answer: a true sales operating system. Now, this isn't just about buying a fancy CRM or setting your team to a weekend training seminar. So many agencies have those pieces, but they're all separate. They don't talk to each other. The magic happens when training, technology, and coaching are woven together into one seamless workflow. And here's what that actually looks like in the real world. A real system means new producers aren't just thrown into the deep end. No, they have a documented roadmap. They have crystal clear milestones. They have behavioral KPIs. We're talking about the activities that lead to sales, not just the sales themselves. And maybe most importantly, they get weekly coaching based on leading indicators, which lets you spot and fix a problem in week 4, not month 14 when it's too late.
All right, this is where the rubber really meets the road. Building a system isn't just a feel-good operational change. It has a massive, tangible impact on your finances. So let's run the numbers and see exactly how this plays out.
Okay, look closely at this. On the left, you've got a solid $10 million agency with a healthy 12x multiple. Not bad at all. But now, let's say you implement a growth system. Over 3 years, you're adding $1 million in organic revenue each year. Your profit, your EBITDA, goes up to $2.6 million. But here's the kicker, the part most people completely miss. Because your growth is now systematic and predictable, your risk profile is lower. So your valuation multiple actually goes up from 12x to 14x.
Just let that sink in for a moment. This isn't a small tweak. By shifting your mindset from a collection of individuals to an integrated system, you've just added over $12 million to your company's value. That is the incredible power of de-risking your growth engine.
And honestly, even if you never, ever plan to sell your agency, this concept is still incredibly important because the exact same things that drive a premium valuation also happen to create a healthier,
more resilient, and frankly, a much more enjoyable business to run day to day.
You see, when you build a system, you're building a true asset. And that means less dependency on you, the owner, which translates directly to more freedom. It means a stronger bench of talent, so your agency is less fragile. It creates consistent margins and, let's be real, a whole lot less stress for you. This is a quality of life play just as much as it's a financial one.
And this quote, this says it all, doesn't it? This is the ultimate gut check question for every single agency owner out there. Have you built a valuable, independent asset that can thrive on its own? Or have you accidentally built yourself a high-stress, high-paying job that needs you there every single day?
So as we wrap this up, that's the question I want to leave you with. Because the agencies that command those premium multiples, the ones that thrive no matter what the market is doing, and the ones that give their owners true freedom, they aren't just run by more talented people, they're run on better systems. So what are you building?